That's a wrap for this week's EQ video tip. In case you missed one of the tips, here's a quick recap of all the items that Leo covers in his article. Hopefully they can help you the next time you have a mountain of tasks. Welcome back. We have a terrific show today, and it comes to us from Leo Babauta, and he writes an article about how to tackle a mountain of tasks that are in front of us at work. And we've all been there before. We go away on vacation. In this case, Leo went away for a month. We'd all love to have a month off, but even if you take a week or 2 weeks off, you come back and that work is just compounded in terms of what you have to do. And there's a lot of work out there. And how do you do that? And it's just impossible to even just to wade through. I remember I took a week off and I had over 2,000 emails. How do you get through that? How do you do your work? And how do you avoid being discouraged from everything that's going on? And so what Leo's going to talk to us about is different strengths and different strategies on how to create a good challenge and make it something that you feel invigorated to go through those tasks every day, as opposed to that mountain of work creating stress, anxiety, and fear, and all those other things that we don't want in EQ to happen. So let's jump into EQ's video tip for this week and see what Leo has to say. Tip number 1, and this is something we have to figure out. Why do we feel like this is such a daunting task? Why is it that we feel overwhelmed, discouraged, because we have this mountain of tasks and emails that piled up? And what happens is when we get all those things together, it becomes an impossible task, but a series of undertakings that we have to go through. And it's not just one thing, it's all these little things that mount up and pile up in front of us. So that's a huge problem for us. And what we have to do is slowly unpile them and take them into little tasks. Because when we put them all together, it becomes this huge mountain. But instead, what we have to do is figure out why we're grouping all these things together. And we'll look into ways to get started right after this. Tip number 2, how do we start and where do we start? Well, you want to start slow, believe it or not. We want to take these big tasks that are out there and break them into little tasks and get little wins. And the first day back, don't expect to answer everything, but give yourself permission to do a few things every day, but not everything. Realize that it's not going to make a difference if you respond to every single email day 1 versus over the course of that first week. Find small wins to start with. It's important that you can group the messages, maybe sort them by the different message title or the different sender. Right back to a few. Get yourself good wins. Mark that in your head as, hey, we've got a good win here that I'm able to respond to someone, or I'm able to keep moving things forward. Triage things. For example, if you get an email newsletter every day from, let's just make it up, the EQ newsletter, group them all together, triage them, move them somewhere else where you can read them when it's time and when you have more time to get to them. And get things done one at a time. Little groups of wins will help you out. And again, find other places where you can find these small wins. As you go through it, it's going to give you more and more confidence that you're able to tackle this. At the end of the day, make it a game. Say to yourself, I'm going to knock out 20 emails, or I'm going to knock out 20 tasks, and slowly chip away at them and see if you can earn yourself a point or do something nice. Put a nice thank you in every email. Whatever it is, make sure that you're starting slow, building up gradually so you knock yourself through them. Tip number 3, how do you focus? Leo has great examples here. He picks 3 things. First, he picks a handful of things that he's going to work on. So in his mind, 3 to 5 things, and that's it for the day. Second, he takes that short list and he focuses it down. If it's a big 3 tasks, he subdivides it, make it very small, but make it something that those are the things that he or you are going to focus on for that day. And third, and most important, think about why you want to do those things. Which parts of your day are most important that you focus on right then and there. If you grab those together, you'll be able to bundle it up, be more focused and more concise on what you're doing to unbundle that mountain of tasks. Our next tip, find delight and joy in each email or each task that you're doing. Now, it sounds silly, but imagine that every email you got is actually someone praising you or saying what a great job you did or great gratitude for all the stuff that happened or saying what a great person you are. And take that, and then when you're responding, put some love back into it. It'll give you more confidence in what you're doing and also raise up the bar in terms of what you're doing from an EQ standpoint and how you're interacting with other people. It'll also make it more fun so that as you're talking back to people, you're thinking about how great it is. And even those spam emails you're getting, think of them as love that you're getting from whatever vendor it might be, that they actually care about you and want to make you better. Even those spam ones that are crazy that are out there. Our last tip, change the way we look at these mountain of tasks. The first way that we always look at it is with just dread and like, oh my God, do we really have to go through and do all this work? But that's not helpful for you. That is not going to make you inspired. Instead, look at this as a place of adventure, somewhere you can learn, play, be curious, and there's going to be a whole new adventure out there when you go through these tasks. So change the way that you look at them and change your attitude. I know it's not an easy concept to do, but if you think of it that way, look at it as the next part of your journey. Welcome to the EQ Video Tip. I'm your host, Eric Forsetter. Thank you again for joining us for another great edition of the EQ Video Tip. As always, before we jump in, let's review the goals of EQ Video Tip. So that concludes our EQ Video Tip for today. Try incorporating some of these tips into your daily routine. But remember, use what works best for you and personalize it for yourself. Thank you always to our great research team for providing us with some great tips today. As always on EQ Video Tip, we want to end with gratitude. So thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Here are some resources that you can use if you want more information on EQ going forward. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.